Okay, with the other Dremel, just going to try to drill this hole, hopefully. Okay, that's one hole drilled up here. Camera won't want to focus in, just typical. So much for autofocus. But anyway, hole's a little bit off centre, to my liking anyway. It's a little closer to the rail webbing. Just the bottom is this side. You just have to trust me on this one. So it's a little off centre to the bottom, but by the time I'm done with it, it should be alright. The next step will be to put up against the wheels. Let's see if I can. Up here. Yeah. Tripods are a handy thing. Gotta be careful, this is a Sharpie. Ha, sorry, bad joke. Yeah, I can hear you saying, no. So the guy used to rip paper, he says that was terrible. Yeah, that's right, bad jokes all around. Let's hope I've got that where I need it, which I don't quite. I'm just cross-checking, which you can't see at the moment, cross-checking my first drill hole, axle centre on the next axle. Because if I'm out, it'll bind. Then I'll be in a bind. So I've got one shot at drilling this hole, getting it correct. So what I've got now is two markings, one which will be correct. Just going to hope the drill will take hold. If I have a small enough centre punch, I'll be able to centre punch it first, then the drill will be able to find its way. Right. So, come back down to here. Okay. And if the next hole. because of the length of the drill, which you may not have seen me doing just out of view, the length of the drill cutting area is basically from about there. So down here it's just plain shaft about here, and then it's drilling from there up. So what happens is the end of this drill wants to flow off centre, so therefore it could easily snap. So what I've just been doing, put this through a hole at the moment. There we are. You may or may not be able to see that. So what's happening is I'm trying to tilt the rail. I'll see if I can do this in a slightly different position for you. So that way hopefully the camera can get this. If I drill at a slight angle, that angle, slight angle, that angle, I basically make the hole a little bit on the sloppy side. So I can tilt it over these two angles, that angle and that angle, pardon me. So then that way I end up with a nice little bit of a slightly oversized hole. And then with that, I'll just bring this up here a bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I can. You may not be able to, so bear with me a moment. I'm going to be cutting just past the hole. So hopefully I'll get this in a way that you can see what I'm doing. Oops, wrong way. Sorry people. Okay. Hopefully that'll be right. So I'm using my little fingers as a steady. Camera in a slightly different position for you. the ends tidied up. Do some more on the back edge. Oh jeez. So now I have the back edge mostly done. Flip around. There's the other end of it. Might not be the clearest to see. That's the back of the rod. So the next step of it, if I zoom out for you, oops, wrong way. Next step is to have it up here. So if I remove the middle section, and remembering the web of the rail I had done in black texture, so unless I knew which side was down. So, let's see if we can get this in view for you. You may or may not be able to see it too clearly. I've got my spiky 4 eyes on, so hey, there's no binding in that. So I'm happy. As long as the other rods the other side stay on. So, a bit more work to be done yet. Let's try this one on for the moment. So now it looks like a complete set. Yeah, that was going to be the case. But it's the next step of it. After this, what I'll have to do, I'll have to cut down the crank pin on the leading axle. Then that way you can tuck up behind the crosshead guide bars. Get it right eventually. Then I can also put the retainer onto the second axle, also get the retain on the first and second set of axles, and on the last what I'll have to do is put a spacer in here on the third axle, then have the main rod come all the way up as far as near the lead axle. Then from there it'll be the crosshead and piston rod going into the cylinders. So there's a little bit more to be done. So I'll come back down to this part of it. Bear with me a moment. Something I need to achieve is knowing that I've just got to do the front area on this rod with a Dremel. I get that flush on this side. Let's get this camera back up to where it needs to be. Make it a little bit more noise now. Okay, let's see if we can get this up to the camera for you. You may or may not be able to see the detail of what's happening here. That's what I've just ground out. The idea is that this is where the two rods are going to overlap. Swap to the other end of it. You can see how the 45-degree bevel top and bottom. Turn that over to the opposite side. See, I've taken part of the rail head as well as the webbing away to give you almost flush. So that's one lot of rods. The next major lot will be the main connecting rod to the cylinders. So let's get this sorted out a minute. Do the same to the next set. To give you an idea how far I'm going to grind, so then get this camera to focus up again. Looks like it's not going to. Come on camera, focus up. You see the black marker pen I've just done onto this rod? That's how much I'm going to grind away. So this, come on and accept the focus, but it doesn't look like it will. Bloody camera. Never mind. Okay. Let's see how it goes this time. Try all this in such a way that you guys can see it. Oh, it's accepting it now. So again, Done the same to the back, taken most of the detail off the back. So at least now when this goes in, I can actually put the rods back in up here. Anyway, it's locking is on this rear axle. I don't know what the issue is there. There you go. What's about the rods other side? So, the same on this one. Takes it to the lower. And then that in place. So I'll wait on that third axle. It's not going to be too bad. Oops. Come here. Well, there you go. Not the most intelligent person, but I do attempt to, as I attempt to be. I'll try bringing this in a bit for you. Whoops, wrong way. It'll give you some idea. So, oops, that'll be right. Now this one has to drop off. I don't know. I'll be alright once I get the retainers in. Without the retainers in place, they will continuously fall off. It's to be expected. So there you go, folks. Hope you've learned something about doing locomotive connecting rods today. This is just using some very fine scale, I think it's code 55 pico rail, but this is just one stage of it. There's many more hours worth to go into this project, so let's hope by the end of say December 2017, hopefully I'll have it finished. Thanks for viewing, like and subscribe if you like. Okay, I'm back again from a bit more recording. Several hours later from the previous bit of video that you just saw. I now have all this sitting more or less correct. Coming down here, I have the retainers soldered on for the first and second axle, and on the fourth axle. The third one, I'm having to leave free, ready for, let me put no spacer on, and then the main crank rod to go over the top of all that. That's how it looks from above, sitting on its track. And basically, as it is, from this point of view, now, swap hands here. Sometimes you need to be having two right hands or two left hands. Now, once this retainer's got its spacer and the other rod soldered in place, like these ones have been done, I'll be able to start running the loco with the rod on it. So I've done a lot of testing in the last few hours and also getting all this correct. So by the time I reconnect the loco to its tender, oops, there goes its pin. Got to reroute the loco. Right. Hopefully, if this is set up correctly. No, it's not. I missed a hole by a mile. No, there's another way to do this. Got it. Okay. That's how you know it's going to run nice and free. No binding involved. You're going to have no hassles. The important part of this is that each crank pin should be at, say, top or bottom dead centre, and all the rest should be exactly at top or bottom dead centre inclusive. If it's out by half a degree to a degree, you'll end up with issues. And at the moment, I've had to flog out a couple of holes where I'd miscalculated. I've only flogged them out a little bit to give it just enough slop, and out of that I now have no binding. With these Rumford wheel sets, I did have the issue on the opposite side of this axle, that is the right hand side front, and I actually had a bit of a burr on the retainer. So as it was, I managed to get rid of the burr, redo my soldering, and now it runs sweet as. The next major step for this loco will be to have the guide bars put back in place. I've had to take them out temporarily, and these are, if I can get in front of the camera for you, these things just won't be cantankerous. That don't have to be the case. These guide bars that I've made up are just steel, and I've made a slight error, so this is going to have to be remade. I'll just come down to here, across the back end, from that corner to that corner I've made 7 scale feet. You can see here I've put an extra bend into it. I've had to do the same over here. Across here should be 8 foot. That's scale feet. And down here I've got 7. So I'll remake this part entirely with the new point out here and out here, because at the moment the issue I'm having, the leading crank pins are running on the inside of these guide bars. So what I shall have to do is, by remaking all this, I should be able to get it correct. But that's my error. I can sort that out, and very soon the replacement set of these guide bars will be able to sit up in here. Well, not like that, of course, but certainly once I get them sitting properly, they'll sit down in that slot, and hopefully I'll have the measurements correct. Now they'll sit like that for the time being. But the issue I'm having, when that comes to the top dead centre, it's fouling on the guide bars. Same with the other side. And if we do a shot here above, you might get some idea. So when you come to scratch building, you've got to allow for these little extras. You see how tight a fit it is on this side? That's the issue I'm having. This side I've got a bit of space at the moment, a bit of gap, but by the time I crank this up around, you can sort of see how much tolerance there is, which is very little. Don't worry about this one back here, it's because I'm running it backwards and forwards and I haven't soldered this in. That's the other retainer. But hey, once the retainer gets soldered and the crank goes in there, that'll all be retained. So technically speaking, I'll use my little file here. There'll be a main crank from that axle. Came up to about these guide bars. I've got to make the crosshead, which will sit up here, and the piston rod. And then once all that's in place, it'll look like the proper locomotive that it's supposed to be. Just some quickness, I'll briefly come down here, move all my garbage out of the way. Spotlight shadows. There's the side view. So yep, that's how it should hopefully look by the time my model's almost complete. More work to be done on this, so stay tuned, you might see another episode of Kev's Workshop. Thanks for watching.